Hi, welcome to the latest edition of At Home with Luxury Dream Holidays. I'm delighted to be joined by Shubhra from ANZCRO, a company that we absolutely love working with, covering New Zealand, Australia and the South Pacific. Welcome,
Thank
Shubhra.
you. And since we're here having a little coffee, something I have brought from Australia.
The famous Tim
The
Tams.
famous Tim Tam.
Amazing.
So a little sweet treat to
Guys,
have.
Amazing. We will have that in a second.
Absolutely.
Oh, well, welcome. Thank you for joining me in my home.
Honestly, thank you so much for the invite. I really appreciate it.
Tell us a little bit about you, the work you do, and obviously ANZCRO, and why we work so well with you.
Yeah, so my background is, I've always loved working for specialist companies. I have a real passion for them, and I've also always loved working for family-run companies. There's a lot of heart and soul when you work for a company like that. It's very much about the passion of the destination that they hold. I mean, I've been with ANZCRO now for 3 years, and Peter started the company over 30 years ago out in New Zealand. So our head office is in Australia, and it's lovely because his two sons have now taken over the running. And, Nick is the older brother. He runs our head office in Australia. Andrew runs it from the UK. So it's lovely to have the three offices. Just talking about these wonderful three destinations.
I think it's really important for somebody to be behind a company that really knows the product, that actually, from my point of view as a business, it's lovely to think that there's nothing that you won't be able to help with, that you can't get the answer to, and there's always that support by really passionate people at the end of it.
And I think that makes such a difference. We have a team out, so when your clients are travelling and, they have that reassurance that there's a team on that side of the world.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, there's so many things with weather and little things that can happen. It's just knowing that somebody's there protecting you, really. And so it's a really important thing. But what's so lovely about ANZCRO, yes, they work with kind of well-known brands, but it's the smaller companies they love supporting and championing as well. A family-run winery or, and I think that's just as important,
We're finding nowadays that people just don't want to travel. They want to experience things. So
absolutely.
You're just saying working with local families and everything. I think that is becoming more and more popular. I mean, my children's generation in their upper 20s, they no longer just want to go and fly and flop on the beach. They want to go and cook in somebody's house. They want to go and look at, some of the culture, some of the history. So that is just perfect, and what you do so well.
Absolutely. And I think, with our destinations, it's a real bucket list experience. And when people do it, and that's why we work with travel agents, because you've got to create the perfect itinerary to suit them. And it doesn't mean it has to be expensive. We're dealing with kind of 3-star properties or off the beaten track, but of course, if people are looking for something special because it's a special birthday or anniversary, they can obviously stay in something a bit more luxurious. So there's choice, and that's what people are looking for.
I think you're right, and I think sometimes they don't want 5-star luxury from beginning to end.
Correct.
Because they just don't feel like it's wrapped around them.
Yes.
But it is nice to mix and match.
Yes.
To have different experiences.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sort of on that point, what would be the highlights at the minute? Where do you see as people's go-to places that maybe they don't even know about?
Yeah, I mean, you've got some real kind of standout moments. You've got an incredible culture in Northern Territory. Get that flight into Alice Springs. You've got over 101 different experiences. I mean, the real standout is the Field of Lights. Bruce Monroe was a British artist. He went travelling with his wife, And every place that he went to, he kind of drew and created things he'd like to see.
Okay.
And the Northern Territory, they love the idea. And so they created the Field of Lights, which is 50,000 LED lights right by Uluru Rock. And as the sun is setting, the lights
Wow.
rise. And
It's just, he set it up about 10 years ago
He
for,
did.
For a temporary sort of exhibition.
Correct,
And
yes.
it's still going.
Everybody just loved it. I mean, yeah, it's, it was supposed to be, I think, around 10 months, and it's 10 years this year.
Amazing.
So there's something
Yeah.
so unique. And obviously with that kind of Aboriginal culture,
Yeah.
it really feels well in that particular area. And then, of
Amazing.
course, I've got to mention the wineries. Kangaroo Island.
That's not
and-
like you, Andy, at all, is it? It's like, yeah, I know. Can't go without mentioning the winery.
Got to mention the vineyard. I mean, Australia and New Zealand do it well, but Australia with, South Australia, their vineyards are absolutely incredible. Beautiful kind of cellar doors, again, family run, well-known ones as well. And then easy enough to kind of get a ferry across to Kangaroo Island. The nature there is phenomenal. And as the name suggests, obviously, wild kangaroos.
Yeah.
And I think that's what Australia really encompasses is the nature, that it's all roaming freely.
Plenty of space,
Oh,
yeah. And I'm sure a lot of undiscovered nature maybe at points. I think that combination, as you said, of different interests, of actually in Australia, you can be one day in a vineyard, another day, in the outback.
Absolutely.
It's just,
It's
the
so
diversity.
diverse.
Yeah, definitely.
It's very much about that. You've got all these wonderful states, and they all offer something that a little bit unique, a little bit different. And all we say is, when you get to the end, ensure Queensland is your last point of call, because you're adventuring around so much. It would be so not good if you did not venture to the Great Barrier Reef.
Yeah.
It's a World UNESCO protected site. The Australians are so proud. They really protect it. And I mean, I'm a water lover, and it blows your breath away when you see it.
Shubhra, can I ask you, because a lot of people think actually, there's lots of negativity about, how much the barrier reefs around the world are being destroyed through global warming, but Australia's barrier reef is so vast and so vibrant.
It's
still
huge. I mean, that kind of stretch of like Brisbane right up to Cairns, right through to kind of northern Queensland, it's about 1,500 kilometres. And they are so proud of it. They protect it. They're very sustainable. Eco is kind of in their mind. There's certain number of boats that will go out. They're looking at obviously kind of boats that go out as well, and they've got to protect it, and they've got projects there as well. So it's really important, for Australians.
So those people that are thinking, we're not going to go because it's going to be dull and bleached, and I'm sure sections are very concerning. But we've not seen a drop off of people. But Australia used to be about the barrier reef. That was like everybody wanted to be there. But I think there's so much else nowadays. But really interesting for you to say end up there.
Yes.
Just down tools and relax.
Absolutely.
And chill.
You've got some beautiful places. You've got incredible islands with the Whitsundays and Fraser Island, etc. But they have definitely realised there can't be over tourism in there. So they're really quite careful in how they manage the situation, which is what you want. You're traveling such a long way, but they want you to experience so much of the land. But yes, you've got this beautiful part of the world and the water element, but they are restrictive of how many people will go there, because the world is traveling, and we want to keep this world protected for a very long time.
We get asked quite a lot for people that have not been to Australia that think actually what we'll do is we'll fly into Perth and then we'll pick up a car and we'll drive to Sydney. And it's like, actually, vast distances.
It's huge. And I think that's what sometimes, now I'm here to dispel the rumour. It's vast country.
Yeah.
It's huge. You can, you know, one of the things I do with my presentations, I've taken countries from around the world,
Fitted it
in,
Yeah.
you know, and it is, you know, you'd be crazy to do something like that.
Yeah.
You know, what we always say, and our agents are really kind of experienced with this, they manage clients' expectations
Yes.
of what they want to
Yeah.
see, what's important for them to experience. Because if you're going to do the whole of, you know, Australia, you really do need almost 8 weeks.
Yeah.
You know, to do
and
it
actually the danger
comfortably.
is as you go and you
fatigue.
do it so quickly.
You fatigue.
And you come back and think, well, I didn't really take the time to experience what Australia has to offer.
Absolutely.
So maybe to split it into 2 or 3 journeys.
Yes.
Or actually just really think about, and we're very often guided by your expert staff.
No, the team are brilliant.
To make sure that we put together sensible itineraries, but also with the excitement of all the, you know, all the bells and whistles that they might want.
And it's the same with New Zealand as well. We say very comfortably, kind of 3.5 weeks is the best.
Yes.
You know, a lot of people tend to go for 3. And then, you know, the whole South Pacific fits really well with that, because obviously the kind of beach area for New Zealand is in the north, in the Bay of Islands. But what happens is people fly into Auckland and head south.
Yeah, and it's
so
north,
they
isn't
do all of kind of the North Island down to Wellington, you know, cross over on the ferry to Picton, then do the South Island, and then fly home. But what's so great about having the South Pacifics, I mean, Fiji's 4-hour flight away.
I know.
And I think people forget.
The Canaries or somewhere like that. You know?
And so it's I mean, the South Pacifics, you know, the people are just wonderful. You know, it's very much about the locals, the water, you know, just pristine beaches.
Amazing.
It's trying to, and I think just people forget about that, you know, so it's more kind of ensuring them that if they want that, you know, few days of respite, it's a great way to do it.
Go and do the scenic, you know, the amazing New Zealand.
Yeah.
I mean, I've learned a lot recently about train journeys and different ways of doing things with New Zealand. And actually, you know, it's just an amazing destination, but where is the downtime?
Yes.
I guess lakes and everything else, but actually how lovely to combine that then with some beach and a little bit of warmth and
it's
else.
wonderful, because that, I mean, I've got to say that the difference really with New Zealand to Australia is the landscape.
Yes.
You know, I mean, it's triple the size of everything, you know. The mountains, the ravines, you know, the roads. Even if you decide to do a motorhome or a self-drive, you could drive for 4 or 5 hours and not see another vehicle.
Wow.
You know, so it's just a wonderful kind of experience.
Absolutely.
You know, and I think that's what kind of blows people's minds away. And interestingly, you know, we're finding that people are looking ahead.
Yeah.
You know, we're having a really great time of bookings, because people are looking at forward bookings. They know they need to plan. They know they need to sit with their agent and with you guys. I mean, you're fantastic at it in being able to navigate what is the right journey for them and not overfilling it.
And I think actually the first part of it is to look at the basic itinerary. So do they want to see Sydney? Do they want to do Cairns? Do they want to do Perth? Do they want to do New Zealand? You know, both islands, etc. But that's just the first part of it.
Yeah.
So actually getting the shell of the itinerary. But what is really important, and I know you always state that to us, is actually there are a lot of things that need to be pre-booked.
Yes.
Because actually you can plan an itinerary, and then when people get there, if they've not booked it, it's not going to happen.
No.
So some tips.
Would be great. Absolutely. I mean, you know, Sydney is a prime example. You know, people, they know about Sydney, they want to do the Opera House, they want to do the bridge climb, and they kind of almost think, well, I'm going to Sydney for 3 or 4 days, I'll do it when I'm out there. Too late, you know, it's booked up. I mean, one of the ones that people really miss out on is the harbour cruises. You know, to have that kind of sun setting in the background, beautiful meal, you've got the Opera House, the bridge. But
I think they feel that there must be so many trips going.
Yes.
We'll just hop on something. But actually, you don't need to plan down to the last minute. but your iconic things, you know, getting to Australia and then not being able to do
Oh, can you imagine?
what's on your bucket list is
Absolutely.
devastating. So,
You know, it's a long way to travel,
yeah.
and it's not something that's on your doorstep. So it's not as though you're going to go time after time.
It's fine, we can go back and do that the next time.
And it doesn't happen like that. You know, there's a huge world out there to travel to. And so, so it is ensuring that you, as you say, you start with the skeleton and then make sure. Another little tip is if you are going to do a vineyard tour and you're doing a self-drive holiday, make sure you pre-book it through you as a tour, because the last thing you want to do is go to 3 or 4 wineries and cellar doors and you're driving.
Yeah,
you
so I
know.
hadn't thought about that.
Yeah, so, you know, again, it's just leave the car behind, go and have that wonderful day, learn about it, you know.
Be able to sample them.
Oh, absolutely.
We're all good at that generally.
Yeah, well, we are very good at that. So.
The other tip that somebody the other day said to us, and I know you've said it before, is about booking excursions early in your arrival at a destination.
Absolutely. I mean, we definitely find it, especially in New Zealand. People will stay in certain areas for kind of 3 or 4 nights, and then they'll book, you know, a light aircraft, you know, over the glacier on the 3rd or 4th day. The problem is, if the weather's not great on that particular day, it's cancelled.
Yeah.
Whereas if they book it on the 1st or 2nd day, there's manoeuvrability with that. You know, if the weather's not great, okay, we'll move it to the 2nd or 3rd day to be able to do it. You don't want to miss out.
No.
You know, again, you've travelled all this way for this experience.
We've probably all done that on our own holidays and trips where you think, leave it to the last day. We've been acclimatised. We would have seen everything else and we'll have a big send-off, and then the big send-off never happens.
Yeah, and you've missed out.
Yeah, great information, and your team are absolutely excellent.
Yes, they will always direct you, and that's what's so wonderful for the team that we have, because they talk about these 3 destinations all day long.
Yeah.
And they love it.
I know.
You know, it's incredible to just have this passion and this knowledge as well, you know, and that's, again, these are big place destinations right on the other side of the world.
People's dreams.
Yeah.
You know, at the end of the day, it's important to get it right. I know you've done a couple of showcases so that we can update our knowledge.
Yeah.
And I just love the enthusiasm that every single one of your suppliers, ground handlers, anybody just love their job. So and that shows through when we're working with you.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
and every day is a learning day as well. You know, there's always, you think you kind of know it, and there's always something else that, you know, you find out about it. And what was the thing that we learnt about the Cook Islands?
It's not very, there's a road, you either go on the clockwise bus or the anti-clockwise bus. And actually, it's about 32 kilometres all the way around. So we've learnt quite a lot. This was a recent training, but we all try and update our knowledge. Obviously, as an agent, we're dealing with lots of different destinations.
Absolutely.
So we rely on our brilliant partners like ANZCRO
it's so
to
good.
Just say to us, okay, have you considered this? Maybe suggest that to your customers.
Yes.
So if you're thinking about Australia, New Zealand, and combining it with the South Pacific, then you're in safe hands, always with us, but also with our amazing partners. So thank you, Shubhra, for
it's been an absolute pleasure.
And actually for the Tim Tams, which I'm going to start in just a second.
No, thank you, Claire, for the opportunity. I mean, it's just lovely to talk about our destinations, you know, and it's great. So thank you for the invite as well. So I really appreciate it.
Brilliant. Thank you so much.
Thank you.